Hello, everyone. I hope you're having a great night. I mean, I know it's cold, but I hope the poetry is warming you up. Well, my poem today is about a really bad time of the day, and I think it's one of the worst parts of the human experience in general. 3 a.m. is the time of the day when you're like awake and everything is confusing and everything is so overwhelming and underwhelming. So it's like, it kind of sucks. If you agree, I want you to shout out, 3 a.m. sucks. Well, easy, okay? I was thinking maybe 3 a.m. has feelings. Maybe 3 a.m. has thoughts about us. Maybe 3 a.m. doesn't really want us to feel bad. So I wrote 3 a.m. a letter. And it goes, Dear 3 a.m., it must be anything but easy to be yourself. I mean, I know how it feels like to be there at the wrong time, but it must be a whole new level of awkwardness to always be the wrong time. You are the most cursed part of the day, the most intense, the most surprising, and the least understood. And instead of going to sleep, people blame you for whatever it is that's going on while you're around, but not me. I am not gonna blame you here. You can tell me all that's going on in your mind. I know you rarely ever get to do that. Usually, our thoughts would be spiraling into the air, and you are the only one who's there to hop in and catch them. You are always doing the job of the hero, and 3 p.m. gets to have the credit every single time, but not tonight. Because tonight, I am full of questions that I know only you can answer. So tell me, how many times have you heard I love yous that were only out of drunkenness and lack of control? Do you sense a pattern when couples keep collapsing into and against each other? Do you see the way that artists find in you the most perfect of conditions to practice blossoming with their art? Do you see how they do and undo lines, hoping to create the most beautiful masterpiece of all? Do you feel proud of them? When we try to hum lullabies to ourselves at night, do you try to comfort us when smokers have you as their only company? Do you wish you could throw away their cigarettes or sit down and smoke along with them? Tell me, are you aware that after making horrible decisions, people point fingers at you like it wasn't their fault, like it wasn't their decision, like it wasn't their horrible coping mechanisms, it was your mistake? Tell me, how many screams have you wished you could silence? How many car accidents have you survived? No. How many killed you? How many suicides did you witness? Did you shrivel at the scene? Do you find someone being in peace ever? Dear 3 a.m., we have a problem. You are being blamed for all of it. 10 p.m. has her grip way too loose on us. She tells us that we can watch one more episode, read one more chapter, stalk our chats 1 week further. 12 a.m. takes the blow, but you are the only one that's stuck doing all the comforting. You either arrive to clean up the mess or watch it fall apart. 11 p.m. has her grip loose enough for us to chug on bottles of sour fun, and has 2 a.m. paid a check every single time. By the time that we arrive home, we are watered down heartbreaks, drenched in our own insomnia, looking for the wrong type of medicine. 12 a.m. has her grip too wide, too tight, too sickening across her stomach. She reminds us of all the times that our minds made up convincing reasons to say that we hate ourselves. 12 a.m. knows exactly how vile the word hatred is. It's why she chooses to repeat it over and over and over again. When you feed yourself the same thoughts every single night, their acidity starts to feel more tolerable. They slowly start to feel less like sharp blades and more like a blaze that can only leave a sting behind the fire that you can swallow. But it's okay, it's all gonna be okay, because 1 a.m. arrives with a backpack full of all the wrong reasons to make it all feel better. 1 a.m. reminds us of all the comfortable directions we really shouldn't be moving in, all the wrong people that know exactly what's the right thing to say. 1 a.m. reminds us of all the hugs they didn't forget to give us, all the distances they didn't hesitate to cross. 1 a.m. does not care if that person is toxic. 1 a.m. does not care if that person is manipulative. 1 a.m. does not care if that person is a liar. 1 a.m. just wants us to feel better. She doesn't care if it's right. And then 2 a.m. rushes in, and she knows exactly how heavenly the word love is. It's why she refuses to ever repeat it. 2 a.m. rolls out a long list of reasons why we never really found love, but never a single clue to how we're actually gonna get to find it. You see, 2 a.m. knows that something is definitely wrong. She just has no idea how to fix it. And then you, 3 a.m., you glide in. You take in this whole mess. You watch us as we weep out loud or in text or as quietly as we can, while we take up the least amount possible of space in our beds, trying to become as small as our pain makes us seem to be. I know It isn't your fault. You only arrive hoping to find sleeping souls, and you find catastrophes hidden behind doors. Your hands were roughened up out of experience, not out of will. Your grip is tight enough to keep us together, loose enough to give us a reason to rely on ourselves. You hold us into your broken, glued together clock arms, and you hope to God it doesn't hurt too much. But it always does. But you are the only reason that 3 p.m. gets to have the credit every single time, dear 3 a.m. You know what? I admit it, I get it. You are the hero. I'm just so sick of having to need a hero every single night. Sometimes I wish that we could meet each other just a bit less often. Love, the one from last night. Thank you. Are you ready for one more? Some days, my eyes slam themselves open the same way that a red blotch on torn canvas screams in shrieking shades that the human eyes are just not accustomed to hear. Some days, my breath sounds a lot like a worn-out engine of a really rusty car, coughing and wheezing its way through the road, surrounded by fires of Ferraris, confined by smoke, trapped in a halo of its own exhaustion that's apparently invisible to everyone else. Some days, my mouth feels pretty comfortable with the language of apologies. It takes "I'm sorry" as an anthem. It takes silence as a mantra. My tongue resides at the back of my mind, knitting threads to scrap out thoughts and then leaving them half complete, barely done, never really finished. Some days I'm never done with breathing my greatness down and shaking my anger up. Some days I'm tired. Some days I just really feel like crap. On these days, I'm too tired to make that sound beautiful, too worn out to turn it into a metaphor, too drained of finding poetry and spotting meaning in every spot and every crease and every single thing that I don't ever dare to say. Some days are pointless and overanalyzed like a song with too much lyrics, too many voices, too many chords strumming and screaming at the same exact time, and none of them is heard. It all just turns into really loud and excruciatingly painful noise. My eyes feel so overwhelmed by the light they find in this world. They would rather see none of it. They would rather drown in everything than focus on one thing and know what to say about it. Some days I look at my reflection and I don't know what to say about it. I look at people, at the ground, at the sky, the floor, or even out of my window, and I don't know whether to call their life beautiful or amazing or ugly or magical or even possibly functional. Some days are heavy and extremely blurry. My body becomes a hefty boulder. My knees start crumbling from all the weight they were never ready enough to lift. On these days, I find it hardest to remind myself that I am not made of stone. You don't get it. There are days that feel like I'm walking through Holocaust, where I am a tornado of assumptions that I created about myself. There are long nights that I spent identifying as a volcano that's only trying to stuff its magma back towards the core. There are hour-long minutes that I spend with my head buried beneath the sand of my own insecurities, when even breathing became the hardest of things to do, because who the hell can breathe when they're buried beneath sand? Days where I am a walking anxiety attack and everything is a trigger. And these days, I find it hardest to remind myself of things like pink skies or smiling clouds or even hugs that may possibly make you feel like you actually mean something. Today, I woke up feeling a lot like a burnt blotch of blood-red paint that was slashed and splattered all over a canvas that was too thin to hold it all in, so it started seeping and dropping scarlet and mahogany all over the floor, and I found myself looking at the whole scene and thinking, well, I don't really know what to do with that mess. My morning was like a possibly good melody being played on an untuned kudar. My conversations, a decent movie plot, directed horribly. My ambition was a heavenly flavored cup of tea that was left for too long and is now way too cold to drink. You see, today, I woke up feeling like something is definitely wrong, like everything is just so much heavier than I'd like it to be. And then I grabbed myself the hell out of bed anyway. I went in front of the mirror, and for a second, I didn't care if I knew what to say about my reflection or not. I just looked at my arms, at my legs, at my thighs, at my calves, at my abdomens, and every single body part that could possibly have a muscle, especially my heart. And I told them they have to get ready, because today is just another day where everything feels heavy. But that just means that we have a lot of weightlifting to do. Thank you.